Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And welcome to the Weird Science Comics YouTube channel, where I'm going to be going through a spoiler review of Batman number 93. So if that is something that you want to avoid until you read the issue, go off and read the issue, and then come back and listen and watch this video. Batman number 93 is written by James Tynion IV, and it has art by both Gilliam March and Javier Fernandez. Most of the stuff that's leading up to the Joker War, which will start at number 95, has got me more and more excited about the Joker War. Now, this one takes a little bit of a step back there. We end up finding out some information that we kind of already know, and some of the big reveals are so kind of outrageous that you can't think that they are going to stick at all. But we do find out who and what the designer is, and I had speculated, especially after reading the whole Batman Secret Files a couple weeks back, that the designer was indeed the Joker. That's partially true, kind of true. I can skew it to make myself right, and I like to be right, so we will skew it. But you start off with Batman in Wayne Enterprises facing off against the designer, who's sitting there looking like he's, too cool for school. And instead of Batman saying, "Listen, give me what your plan was," you have the designer say, "Hey, listen, tell me what my plan was." And so Batman does go through what he's deduced to be the designer's big plan from back in the day, what the plan was when he set it up with the Joker, the Penguin, the Riddler, and a Catwoman. And most of it we already know. So it does feel like recap. It feels as if at this point, when we're going to get the reveal of who the designer is, James Tynion, wants us to remember what that big plan was. Now, we've seen some of the plan and then not some working out. We see some of it going on right now with Selina, but the whole plan is Batman saying, yeah, you're going to have these 5 assassins come in. Now, back in the day, he says they weren't what we got now. They were a lot better back then. I mean, if it's one of those things, it's not just nostalgia saying that, please. Mr. Teeth is way less than any of these. And I would like to think that Mr. Teeth replaced KG Beast. And that is not a trade anybody wants to make. It would be the curse of the KG Beast trade. You'd never win a championship again if you trade Mr. Teeth for KG Beast. You'd never do it. And so with that, and it's like trading Mike Trout right now for a bag of old balls. But you have the older squad here: Shiva, KG Beast, Deathstroke, Deadshot, Merlin. Pretty kick-ass team, but they were going to come in. They were going to cause some trouble, which was then get the Penguin able to go and kind of get his hooks into the politics of Gotham. In the meantime, Riddler would start doing his riddles. That would end up making everybody in the city upset. Then also the GCPD would be on the payroll from the Riddler and the Penguin, and they would shoot Gordon. And then in the meantime, Selina would go off and steal all of Bruce Wayne's riches, throw it up like they're having a ticker tape parade, and probably sleep on gems and money. And that's not very comfortable. She probably would never get a good night's rest after that, but she'd be filthy rich. So maybe she can buy a good night's rest. Well, that is the whole deal with all of them. We never really knew what the Joker was supposed to do, because the designer and the Joker had a little spat as they were going over the plan. And that is when the designer seemingly got killed by the bad guys. And the thing is, it's just that the Joker was supposed to kill Batman and Robin. Now, with this, the designer spells out, you wouldn't know what hit you back then. You were still fighting gangsters. So some of the timeline feels a little off, not in the all-time, but since like a 0 year that we got in the New 52. Seems a little teeny bit off, but I can deal with that. But yeah, the Joker was supposed to kill Batman and Robin. He ain't going to do that. So that's what is the kind of we're going to agree to disagree argument between the designer and the Joker. So you end up what we're always going to have when Batman faces off against anybody is a sword fight, right? They just start sword fighting, which is a nice little, I thought, homage to the big Ra's al Ghul Batman sword fight back, but there's no bare-chested Batman. Where's the bare-chested Batman? This is the non-sexiest version of a sword fight I've ever seen in my life. I need something better. Well, while this is going on, you do have Selina off with the underbroker, and she's going to get Bruce Wayne's riches. That was the original plan. Now, we can guess that nowadays, she's trying to get Bruce Wayne's riches to save Bruce Wayne's riches because she knows what the plan was. She's afraid that the plan being enacted will end up making Bruce a poor man. Selina don't want to marry no poor man. She's a lady of means. She needs it. So she's going to steal all his money to protect it, you would guess. It doesn't quite work out that way. And this is where things start getting a little bigger, but they do end up being a little too big, a little too outrageous in my mind to stick. You get a lot of things that normally in issues would be a cliffhanger, like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And then the next issue, you end up, oh, it didn't. But you end up mentioning that Harley and Punchline are still fighting, and they are. And they're fighting, and you do get the MO of Punchline, very similar to the Joker when he says to Batman, hey, Batman, that Bat family of yours, those Robins, they make you weak. You're not as good with them, so I'm going to kill them. You end up having Punchline after Harley. Her grudge is when you're with the Joker, it just isn't as good. You ended up nerfing the Joker, and I'm going to unnerf that. I am going to slice your throat, kill you, and throw you in the sewer water. Now, I don't know if she thought the sewer water was a Lazarus pit. She didn't, and it isn't. But yeah, this is an idea of, is Harley really going to stay dead? Now, her solo book does end in August, so the timing does make sense. But when Sam Humphries ended up leaving and saying the book Harley he's doing is going to end in August, said there's so many great things down the line with Harley. I don't think one of them is being dead in the sewer, but we'll see. Just seems really big. But I ended up saying I thought Harley was going to die in the Joker Wars. So maybe it's just the idea that I kind of expected this. It's a little earlier than I thought, but it didn't really shock me as much, mainly because it's like when you end up not liking spiders, but then you can watch Eight-Legged Freaks because they're just such monstrosities that they're not really spiders. That's kind of the feeling I get. But Batman ends up unmasking the designer. I said I thought it was the Joker. Well, it actually is the animated corpse of the designer, seemingly being controlled by the Joker, is now talking through him. And we did end up seeing Selina earlier on in this arc dig up the body of the designer, at least see if the body was in the coffin, and it wasn't. It was a Joker henchman dressed like the Joker. So with this, that makes sense. But how is the Joker animating these bodies? We've seen the GCPD zombies come out of the whole deal. And I do expect now maybe the Joker's going to control the dead body of Harley. And then later, well, we'll see another dead body. But how is he doing this? How is he able to animate corpses and then talk through them? Because he just seems to be talking through a cell phone. And is there a cell phone down the throat of this corpse of the designer? But it is the Joker. This is where I said I can skew things. This is almost like the Joker in spirit is the designer, but he has the big plan. This is part of the plan. He's going to go after Selina. He says he's going to enact all these things, and Batman's not going to be able to stop him. And Deathstroke comes out of nowhere. He was sleeping on the side. He got gassed or darted by Batman. And so he comes to and ends up fulfilling the contract with the Joker that we thought was off. Well, it's still on. I thought that Deathstroke was still handcuffed, but it doesn't seem like that's the case, that he ends up running a sword through Batman's leg. And in this, the art, and this is the Javier Fernandez part of the art, it's a little off to me because why do you have the sound effect over where he is doing the, attacking of Batman's leg? You really don't get a really great concept of what's going on. You do, but it doesn't play out as well with that there, the shunk. And I guess the shunk had to be there. But yeah, so you end up where Batman can't give chase. He can't take out that sword or he will bleed out. He's going to have to get Lucius to go and get him to a hospital, or at least get care, go to Leslie Tompkins. Who knows where he's going to go, but he can't give chase. All these things going on while we continue these big moments when the underbroker has sold out Selina. And in fact, he's been down with Punchline, who comes in and seemingly shoots Selina dead. Again, do we all think that Catwoman is dead? I don't. So we'll see how that works out. And then it just ends with the Joker being a billionaire. He has $100 billion. The money then was transferred by Punchline into the Joker's account. They used Selina as they were going to get her account numbers, her way into the Bruce Wayne deal because of all the shell companies and things, and used those then to steal Bruce Wayne's money. So Selina tried to stop the, stealing of Bruce Wayne's money, and instead she ended up being an enabler to it. But yeah, we end and the Joker War is kicking in. This is my problem, though. I want the Joker War to just get here. This whole designer thing had kind of fell flat. You end up with it just being a prelude to the Joker War. We had a bunch of recap, and there's some big moments that I don't think will stick overall, but we'll see how that works out. But I want to know also, how's the Joker doing all this? We haven't really seen that, and never was set up really earlier of how maybe the designer could do stuff like that. We never really saw that. So how did Joker end up learning or been able to do that? So overall, I'm giving it a 6.5. I do not like Javier Fernandez's art at all. It's a real shame because Gilliam March's art is great. And it just, Javier Fernandez, every time a page of his came up, I didn't like it as much. And that's just a personal thing. I've never really liked his art from the get-go. So if you do like that, if that's your personal taste, then you might like the art a little better. But overall, like I said, it feels like big moments happen, but we're still kind of just waiting. We're setting things up. It's all set up for the Joker War instead of when it started way back when Tom King left the book and James Tynion jumped on, it seemed like it was more of its own story. And I'd rather have it be a bigger own story than just now what appears to be a prelude to the Joker War. But thanks everybody for watching and listening to this. If you like it, please like it below, and also subscribe to the channel. Check out all of the links below to everything Weird Science, including websites and podcasts and other things. But thanks everybody, and I'll talk to you later.